Thank you, Rakesh. Let me, on behalf of the India Energy Forum, welcome our distinguished speakers, particularly Mr. Alok Kumar, former Power Secretary, who agreed to be the chief guest today. We have Mr. Ajay Shankar also participating. All these stalwarts have been part of the process of our sector reform for several years. Very role. And I'm happy that both of them, we were together when we were working for 5 years during 2002 to 2007 in the ministry. And I remember in the ministry we worked out uh, 1 year after my joining, we worked out a scheme, electrification of 1 lakh villages and 1 crore households with substantial grant funding from the government. And even that was not very attractive for the energy secretaries to come back and say that even that is not affordable insofar as governments are concerned. And that gave rise to subsequently under the UPA dispensation, the comprehensive rural electrification program, where 90% grant funding was provided for rural electrification. But as regards rooftop solar, this is not new. And I was again very closely associated from the World Bank side when the rooftop solar scheme was being talked somewhere in 2015, the general rooftop solar scheme.
I was recording too.
Where the World Bank was trying to support through State Bank of India the funding of rooftop solar scheme. I think over last about 10 years, a little less than 10 years, we have substantial experience of working with the rooftop solar. The concept of net metering, the concept of distribution companies, staff being fully acquainted with this. And I remember having conducted workshops and discussions with regulatory groups, with RISCOs, the aggregators, with consumer groups, with people who were representing the rural households and urban households particularly. And a lot of suggestions came. And a few years down the line, the feedback was that the system has yet to stabilize in terms of level of confidence of people, whether this net metering concept is really working. I mean, many of the people believed that how much power is being produced from the solar system, how much is being consumed in the premises, and how much is coming from the DISCOM side. There is some degree of confusion and lack of clarity. As much as that, I myself set up a 40 kilowatt in the office that I work with in Noida. And then even today, many of these issues continue to be mystery. So therefore, learning, awareness, full confidence, full commitment of DISCOM in these matters is very important. It's not that I'm making a point that it is generally lacking, but it requires a good degree of, and maybe I'm not also saying because of some ulterior motives, it does require a lot of understanding, training, and a sense of cooperation and commitment that should come. One of the things that people felt that whether the DISCOMs have taken it very sportingly, because obviously the DISCOMs business reduces, the private sector business or public sector business reduces because rooftop solar produces power. To that extent, their own consumption reduces. So that degree of understanding and that degree of commitment, and even beyond that, a good level of learning and acquiring the skills to deal with commercial issues and technical issues of maintenance issues is very important. Now that this is being scaled down to a figure of some 2 kilowatt and 3 kilowatt, and obviously the idea is for a section of society which remains not as privileged as many others, and therefore we want to see that they are helped in a big way, significant way. The spirit is excellent, and this is a welcome initiative. Much will depend on what happens during implementation. One of the important features of this scheme is that it promotes domestic manufacturing, because the grant funding under the scheme for procurement of the system is available only for the domestic manufacturers. That is very much needed. India embarked upon a massive program of expansion of solar, but we continue to depend heavily on the import. And it really needed production linked incentive scheme is there, but compared with the size of expansion that we want to do on this solar system in the country, and I'm not talking of only rooftop solar, the domestic manufacturing support has to go beyond. Some of the organizations have come up, they are doing their best. More will come up. Then this scheme also will make its contribution toward promoting and sort of facilitating domestic manufacturing in a big way. I'm sure Ministry of Power over the years would have got the experience of working with rooftop solar scheme, because as I said, this scheme is not new. But a general point is that rural India now, because I myself come from India, only recently, last month I was in my village. Every year I go at least twice. And therefore the aspirations of rural India is now much beyond this too. And rural economy also has to develop. So therefore, I have written 2 pieces on the subject that, and then we had provided a very wonderful provision in the rural electrification scheme of the country under the Electricity Act 2003, that if somebody wants to set up decentralized distributed generation system, which will include the renewable, 1 megawatt and below, he does not need any approval. It is delicensed, generation is delicensed, distribution is delicensed. Unfortunately, that scheme was not facilitated to pick up in a significant way. Those days I was selling the scheme that we want Hindustan levers in rural India, that rural economy develops. So while we should promote and we should welcome this scheme side by side, we should sidetrack the issue of rural economy development, and it is there where decentralized solar system in the range of 2 megawatt, 3 megawatt, 4 megawatt in different areas, which should help not only irrigation, but it should also help in rural economy to develop by small scale industry and other industries, because aspirations of rural India today is entirely different. Therefore, while this scheme is great, and it focuses on certain segment of our society, a society that needs certain special attention. At the same time, we should not be oblivious that the experiences that we have gained on the RTS earlier must be brought to bear on implementational aspects of this scheme. And cooperation of DISCOM and DISCOM staff will be a significant factor. I mean, somehow we see in every solution that we make is part of role of DISCOM. I'm not critical of DISCOM. I am proud of the engineers who are working in DISCOMs, but I get scared when their involvement in a significant way comes in any scheme. And scheme after scheme, we have been helping, and rural electricity supply is not supported in a significant way in many states, or maybe in most states. Very many states have done very well. So therefore, their cooperation will be important, their learning will be important, their commitment will be important. The RESCO model, we should revisit some of the experiences and see how best they also contribute into this. So I think we will like to listen to many of the speakers. Alok Kumar will be giving the inaugural keynote address, and there are others. I think I see a large number of distinguished individuals in the participants list today, and definitely it will go a long way, and we will put together some of the conclusions, important conclusions that emerge, and forward to the Ministry of Power and Ministry of Renewable Energy. Thank you very much.